welcome to Flippin Through, the internet's #1 vintage Mad magazine review channel. Today we are flipping through Mad number 46. Came out in April 1959. Cover price 25 cents, and that is indeed cheap. This is a request. This was I don't have it. I don't have it up. This was a request by a commenter. I forget their name. But thank you for leaving a comment and requesting one. And you picked an awesome one to request for a number of reasons. So it's a Kelly Freas cover. We have a melancholy Alfred E. Newman crying as he paints the words, "This is the end of Mad," on a fence. And this is, as far as I can tell, looking at my own personal collection, this is the first in what I sort of became a tradition of telling the reader that it was going to be, this was the last issue. And I mean, there is one, I think I did, I have a video. If I find it, it'll be up there, the link, where it just says this is the last issue of Mad Magazine. But of course, there's some fine print. I'm not going to zoom in. That didn't really work too well the last time. But it says mainly, this is the back cover. For the beginning of Mad, turn the magazine upside down and start at the front, stupid. April Fool. So they kind of did this gag once after. So here we have the this fantastic. It is the end of the magazine. So we have to rotate it around and flip it over, and we get on the cover of the magazine, we get this. See the difference a color TV makes. So this is a RCA Victrola television commercial. See the difference color TV makes. With RGA Victim color TV, nothing is left but to the imagination anymore. Note how the blue costumes of the dancing girls hardly show up in black and white. Then note how, in color, you see every detail. And there's no chance of ever imagining this is a Kelly Freas back cover, too. The sucker bait, only $495. This is the actual photo of the set. Larger sets available at additional cost. So let's get right into this issue. We have look at Kelly Freas is like owning this. This is another Kelly Freas artwork. Holy smokes. And this is I don't know, Samfries. Is it Sandford or something? Probably a pants? I don't know. Somebody who knows something will let me know. We have the this great table of contents, the vital features, television roulette, modern auto accidents. Oh, that will be fun. Low class photos, future Western weapons. I have a sense that we're going to get a hint of the Davy Crockett phase that we have in past issues. The Hip Persuaders, How to Train Your Masters. Oh, this is taking a shot at advertising. How to Train Your Master, Mad's Handy Phrase Book, and Fairy Tale Happy Endings. So, let's keep going here. Mad goes on the record, and here it is. Oh, yeah. The Musically Mad. There was, this is like, I like these. I like looking at the ads and even these parts because I get to see all of the things that I'm missing out on. And this is one that I really want. And there was one in the back page that I don't know that I've ever seen. I've looked on eBay, and we'll get to that. Who is she? Ever since I paid my 2 bits for the January issue of Mad, I've dreamed about that beautiful face. Who is that divine woman on the back cover? Who's the chick on the back cover of your January issue? Larry, Bob, Peter. Who cares about all the men on your staff? Leave them guys to Linda, Gail, Barbara, and the rest. I want to know the name of that beautiful dame on the back cover of your January issue. As a matter of fact, as of yet, we haven't found out her name ourselves. Perhaps you readers have some suggestions. And I believe she showed up. I didn't know that this was... I wonder if she did get named, actually. Because I know that she showed up on a Valentine's issue around the same time. And also, around this time, there was an issue where she's beating the Poder-Zebe drum. And Alfred E. Newman's face is black and blue. So I'm very interested in that. I think, look at that. I mean, she is just beautiful looking. Stunning, really. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is great. And this is great for one reason mostly that I really care. And that is this is early Mort Drucker. So I just did a video. I'll put a link up there about Mort Drucker. He passed away recently. And looking at his first work for Mad magazine, his first issue was Mad number 37 in 1950 something or other. I just filmed it yesterday, and yet I have forgotten already. And what was notable for me is how much his style changed. And I guess he found a style that really he became a master of. And like, I mean, you can kind of see in this illustration, I mean, this looks like it was drawn by a bunch of different people. I mean, all of the caricatures are stylistically different. Who's this? Ed Sullivan, I mean, has many more details. Who's this? Steve Allen. Is that Steve Allen? Very simple, heavy black lines. It's and then look at this. I don't know who this is. Some guy. And then we have these sort of like really cartoony Jack Davis style creatures in the back. And also like right here, this guy right here with his big droopy mustache. It's very interesting how he changed. I mean, a lot of artists are able to draw many different styles, and then they just choose one that they can identify with. But it was... I mean, this looks like a Sergio Aragonés character right down there. It's just... I'm kind of fascinated by his growth as an artist. Because he was just, at this point, completely identified with caricatures. And I think a lot of caricature artists took him, like saw him as the man, and modeled their style after his. Now, for a more uplifting topic, the suicide. Don Martin, who is kind and understanding and tolerant and an idiot, tells us about the time he was instrumental in deterring the suicide. So look at this is a biographical comic. This young, see, look at, she's at like Lover's Leap or something, and I'm gonna assume this is Don running up and halting her, and oh, look at the sun, look at the flowers, look at the birds, and she loses it, screams and stomps the flowers, becomes this hideous creature. And he turns it, he did deter the suicide, he simply turned it into a homicide. That is delightful. Authentic sounds in stereo. I mean, yeah, this was, if you go to a record shop, you can find things like this and like hi-fi records where it's just sound effects. Authentic railroad sound. Sports cars in stereo. Stereo sounds of New York at midnight. Pigeon footsteps in Washington Square. Wheezings of a mounted policeman's asthmatic horse. Two drunken UN delegates singing Annie Laurie in Swahili. Chairwoman, charwomen kicking their buckets in lobby of Chrysler building. What is a charwoman? Charwomen. I've never heard that term. Charwoman. Huh. So I think it's just a cleaner. Like, that's what it appears to be. All right. Anyway, fascinating. A charwoman. Almost looks like. Well, now I don't want to get distracted. I'm getting distracted by uninteresting things. Modern auto accidents. Pictures by Bob Clark. I forget how much I love Bob Clark. And I don't know how long his tenure was at Mad Magazine, but one thing that I really love is his use of like duotone and zipatone. And you can see it in the shading on, so he does these like very, okay, I gotta like zoom in on this. Zoop. All right. I really enjoy this. So you can see the, it was like this, well, there were two things. Zipatone was like basically a screen that would go on and you would kind of cut away. And then duotone, from my understanding, which is limited, all right? So if you know a lot about like these artist tools, please correct me. But anyway, you'll notice that like so many of these details aren't even drawn in. Like the front end of this car, most of that is done with zipatone and then duotone. Duotone is like this chemical reaction on the paper which reveals these like horizontal, or not, they're just parallel lines, usually at a diagonal one way or the other. And so you're able to get this cool shading, and it looks very nice, I think, but additionally, it saves time for the artist. And it was used for kind of I think a short period of time. I mean, relative, when you're talking about art materials, it's a short amount of time considering like people have used oil paints for like hundreds and hundreds of years. Because I think for the most part it's not really used. But it was it's like a very distinct and vintage style. There was this Cartoonist Kayfabe is a YouTube channel that I enjoy, and one of the guys was working with the which is what is basically like zipatone, the screen shading. So you see that a lot in this. But anyway, Tailfin Gore, that is a modern auto accident. Gas cover amputation. Hood release laceration. Yeah, because they would spring up. It was awful. Low silhouette concussion. Jeez, he's partially decapitated himself. Is there a partial decapitation? Probably. Swivel seat abrasion. I wish swivel seats were still a thing, like that you could buy. I know you can buy kits for your cars or vans. What is this? I don't know what this is. This asterisks are pointing to or like referencing, but it just says germicide, Nazi form of Harry Carey. How high class magazines can use low class pictures. I think I'm going to sort of move on through this one. Western weapons of the future. Jim Bowie carves his enemies with a knife. Bat Masterson belts the bad guys with a cane. And Zorro carves his initials with a sword. Vint Blowhard uses spitballs and a straw. Wyatt Bopp, uses a rolling pin. Brett Sling uses a, hey, that's dangerous. Slingshot? Don't use that in the house, man. Matt Merengue. Crime don't pay as he splats a, what do you call it, pie in the man's face. The hip persuaders. The hidden persuaders become the hip persuaders. This is something that I wish would return, which is the derision of advertisers. Nobody is, it's like, it's become so cool to be an advertiser. Like, even before things like Mad Men and things like that, which made it seem like very cool, it just seems like people stopped looking at it as being manipulated. And now they're just like, we just celebrate ads. It's insane. I don't know. But my family worked in advertising, so I probably shouldn't. Probably kind of hypocritical for me to complain about it. Miles Davis digs the Hertz conception. Look at him. He's ready to sign a contract to get a car. So, How to Choose and Train Your Master. By Bruce Beagle, President of Wolf, World Order of Flea Scratchers. Choosing your master, selecting the breed. Oh man, see this? This is a rusted staple and it's bent. Who did the art on this one? I should be able to recognize it. Where's their name? George Woodbridge. George Woodbridge. So, stomach should be small. A large stomach interferes with bending, thereby discourages constant refilling of water dish, petting, and other necessary attentive needs. Ears should be alert and pointed. With good hearing, a keen master means you won't have to bark yourself crazy trying to get inside the house on a cold, stormy night. Training your master. Fetching his own paper. Just disobey him nonstop. Is this... Alright, so Matt's modern handy phrase book for the American tourist. Who wrote this? Why isn't this attributed? I feel like if I read these aloud, I'm in danger of being, you have to read. You have to get this. I'm not reading that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to betray your trust to the person who requested this. Yeah, I'm not. I can't. I'm sorry. It's very funny. It's incredibly funny. But who wrote it? That's I want to know that. Maybe they knew what people were gonna say, and so it's not attributed to anybody. I'm gonna have to check on Mad Cover site to see who made that. Modern architecture and the strange things that happen between the drawing and the building. Architect's drawing. Modern skyscraper designed to look right from every angle. And the photo of the finished building. Harry Arms Hotel. Mad t-shirts are great. This space in a 3-room apartment for rent. Architect's drawing is magnificent Miami refreshment stand includes combination of simple tropical beauty with look of modern luxury. Photo of the finished building. Miami real estate is so valuable, buildings are jammed together and crowd refreshment stand out of picture. So the person who it was Shelley Smith. Shelley Smith, I apologize to you for not talking about the details a little bit more. Look at this, Alfred E. Newman. He's a jack of all trades. Let's talk about that phrase for a second. Jack of all trades is, I love that saying, and there's a whole different part of it that I never knew until recently. Jack of all trades and master of none, right? It's meant to like be sort of like negative about people who, go from this thing to that, or don't focus on only one craft. But there's a second part of it, which is jack of all trades, master of none, but often more useful than a master of one. And I like that, and I agree with it, perhaps because it applies to me, who is not a master of any trade. So we're going to move on. So Don Martin Department Part 2. Being both a member of the literati and illiterati, Don Martin is familiar with the soul-searching torment on choosing a book. P. Carter Frannett and Ruth Arlington Phipps, two of my favorite authors. Which one shall I choose? Oh, so he flips through the one by presumably Ruth Arlington Phipps, and then the one by P. Carter Frannett. He uses the one to kill a fly, and then purchases the other one. If famous authors wrote the comic strips, if they don't have Mandrake the Magician in this, I'm going to lose my mind. Patty Chayefsky, I don't know Patty Chayefsky, but I do know Gilbert and Sullivan. When I saw Gilbert and Sullivan, I thought, that sounds like a Frank Jacobs reference. And it most certainly is. This is done by Frank Jacobs. Before I kill you, Tracy, tell me how you became a flatfoot. When I was a lad, I walked a beat. There's a rookie patrolman on a one-way street. I shook with fear and was meek as a mouse, and I polished up the apple at the station house. Oh, they're wonderful. What do you call it? Arrows pointing to each of those. Oh, art, by the way, by Wallace Wood. You polished up the apple at the station house. I polished up the apple at such a clip that now I am a flatfoot in a comic strip. Though I may be trapped and I have no gun, still you'll never ever kill me, 'cause it can't be done. The whole darn force is waiting till down below. I summoned all the boys on my wrist radio. He summoned all the boys on his wrist radio. Hey, look it. It's, is that Frida Kahlo? Or is that supposed to be Flat Top? I mean, there's like, what is it? Prune Face, Flat Top? I forget all their names. So even if I'm helpless in your evil grip, you cannot kill a flatfoot in a comic strip. If Rudyard Kipling wrote Peanuts, you can talk of playing ball or climbing up a wall or playing London Bridge is falling down, but when it comes to trying out a kite that you'd be flying, then you'd better give a call to Charlie Brown. For it's brown, brown, brown. What's the matter? Can't you get off the ground? What is that? I forget the poem. I've heard this. I know this one. I don't know what this one is talking about, but I know the poem that they're talking about. I just don't know the name or the most famous line in it. But trust me, I know. If Walt Whitman wrote the Katzenjammer, Rex Morgan, MD, Nancy, Sluggo. I love Sluggo. Little Orphan Annie. Listen, I told you, if they don't have Mandrake the Magician, I'm going to be pissed. And I am, so I'm not even going to read those. Mad's cut rate success symbols. Plasticsham Cadillac tail fins. You just stick them onto your garage and nobody will be the wiser. Bogus bored attic dormer. Give those people, make it look like you've had an addition on your house. Plexi fraud air conditioner. Look at that. It's just it's just burning up inside, but he has his fake thing. Fabritech swimming pool. Oh my goodness. Decepto print window shades. Genuine all brick fake barbecue. I feel like I have one of these in my backyard. Oh, there's a corrugated fake barbecue, a beaver board fake barbecue, a Duroplastic fake barbecue, and then the genuine article, though. And then it's the super deluxe genuine quarry stone fake barbecue with real electric rotating spit. It's practically better. Movies are emptier than ever. Well, that's the truth right now. If you're watching this years in the future, this was filmed during the quarantine of early 2020. There's no business in show business department. Here's the reason why. In order to go to a movie today, the average guy has to pay a babysitter. When he gets to the movie, he has to pay an outrageous admission charge. All this so he can sit in a straight back chair and see an awful picture. I will say, well, a lot of this is true. The chairs are so much better now. Here's what can be done. Eliminate admission charges. Next, they should rip out the straight back theater seats and replace them with comfortable old easy chairs, which they have. That's amazing. MAD, again, way ahead of the curve. Oh, Pictures and Story by Dave Berg. Like, you want to talk about a change in style. Dave Berg's style changed massively. This is, like, unrecognizable. That's fascinating. I love that. TV ads we would like to see. The Viceroy ad. What is Viceroy? It's a cigarette ad. Some fairy tale follow-up pages which prove the happy endings weren't so happy. I mean, isn't that sort of what they were anyway? Like, weren't all these fairy tales like really, really dark and traumatizing? And up until Disney got a hold of it? All right. I wish I could. There were all of these little double asterisks, like this, shun, where it gives a word and then it gives a definition. So this one is shun, S-H-U-N, a drunk male's child. Or a drunk's male child, not a drunk male's child, a drunk's male child. Shun. There is shun. And final Don Martin Department number 3, we have Unpicking Flowers. Do not pick the flowers. And yet he does. He puts it into his lapel and a tiny policeman comes. Now, this is something that I want more than anything. I want this in my collection more than anything. No, not the salami. The MAD straitjacket. I've not seen these on eBay or anything, but this is, I would say, like the holy grail of my collection at this point. Of course, there are MAD issues that I would definitely love to have, but I think as far as like MAD items, this would be it. And at first I thought perhaps it was a joke, but it's printed so much. And I mean, like, you can select sizes and stuff. Wait. Is this a joke? Hey, you know, I'm beginning to feel mad already, falling for this ad. So it is a joke, and I just got the joke? I've never been more upset by hearing news than I am in this moment right now. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the likes and the comments, and it seems like people are sharing this because my views are consistent and kind of going up. If you have a request, let me know what it is. I do have next week's video is going to be MAD issue 99 by request. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Toodaloo.